didn't say anything about that.
All right, we're ready. Call the special meeting of the North Branford Town Council Budget Workshop to order for Wednesday, April 4th, 2018 at 7:09 p.m. We'll start first with salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Duty.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Angeloni.
Here.
Counselor Candelora.
Here.
Counselor Diamond.
Here.
Counselor Fawnin. Counselor Miller.
Here.
Counselor Rose.
Here.
Counselor Biglione.
Here.
And Counselor Zampiano.
Here.
All right, fiscal year 2018-2019 budget deliberations, general government services.
There's a couple of motions in front of you, Mr. Mayor, you need to act on first, if you could.
Now we have a motion
Okay, I
decrease the taxable grand list.
make a motion to decrease the taxable grand list by $779,650 per the assessor relating to action of the Board of Assessment Appeals and corrections by the assessor. The attached information is provided by the assessor.
Second.
Discussion?
So according to my calculation, then, that would be a decrease of approximately $260,000 based on current mill rate.
Brings it up, I think, point to 1.48, 2/100ths of a mil.
Okay, but, well, I want to use dollar amounts because in the presentation last night, it had an grand list increase in dollar amount was approximately $360,000. So the grand list originally went up about 2 million.
Right.
Based on the slide from last night, and it said the tax dollar increase with the same mill rate would be 360,000. So if it's now decreasing,
24,585.54 decrease. That's the value of the .02.
say that again, the point,
Went from 1.46 increase to 1.48 increase with that, so that .02 cost you 24,585.54.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Duty.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Angeloni.
yes.
Counselor Candelora.
Yes.
Counselor Diamond.
Yes.
Counselor Fawnin. Counselor Miller.
Yes.
Counselor Rose.
Yes.
Counselor Biglione.
Yes.
And Counselor Zampiano.
Yes.
The second motion is to decrease the equipment rental account 101-4401-312-0000 in the Recreation Department budget by $15,308 to reflect the most recent bid award. And there, it's attached for our review.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Duty.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Angeloni.
Yes.
Counselor Candelora.
Yes.
Counselor Diamond.
Yes.
Counselor Miller.
Yes.
Counselor Rose.
Yes.
Counselor Viglione.
Yes.
Counselor Zampano.
Yes.
All right, we're back into the general government.
So I got a question for Anthony, before we, get going in this. So with the adjustment to the grand list, by my calculations, so if we left the mill rate alone and, you know, said that that was it, that's where we're gonna be, am I right with my calculation that there's $554,000 dollars more this year for you to spend if we left it right where it is?
Say that again.
So we have debt service and the small increase in the grand list.
Correct.
That adds up to $554,000. So if we left the mill rate alone, there's $554,000 more dollars to spend than we had last year.
Well, I think with the motion we just did, that is decreased now, correct? Because our the grand list increase
Right.
is not 360,000.
I thought he said just dropped 24,000, or did I hear it wrong?
$24,000 was the tax value of that change.
So out of the 360, we're down to 336. So we got
Okay.
336 there, and 218
Yep,
is 554,000. And that's extra money. If we leave the mill rate alone, we are going into this year with 554,000 more available dollars than we had last year. Do you
Yeah.
agree with that?
I see what you're saying, yep,
Okay.
yep.
All right, thanks.
I have a question in account, it's 4504 social services. They have a huge increase, and I see that it's due to half of the renter's rebate payments.
Yes.
Is that a mandate, or?
That was part of the deal where the state historically has funded 100% of the renter's rebate program, and now they're kicking 50% back to the town. As of the last thing we heard, it was 50%. And because it's a social service program, I chose to put it in the social service
Okay.
department.
All right, so that was based on the last budget cycle.
Correct.
that
Subject to
came up-
change, I mean, the state, because they're in the toilet more, they could reduce that, we pay
Right,
80% of it, I don't know, but that's just based on
Based on-
50% of the numbers from last
okay,
year.
all right.
Anybody want to make any more changes or cuts on general government?
So the 1 mil that you want to use for capital, that was built into the budget for capital,
Correct, it's
If-
actually like 800,000 is in the budget per se.
Correct,
The
there's-
400,000 is coming out of fund balance.
right, so there was 400 from the fund balance and 830 from budget funds.
That's correct.
Okay. So any reduction in that funding mechanism, if it came out of the budget funds, that is what would reduce the mill rate.
You are correct.
Okay. And on our contingency fund that we have for this year, I know we just did the 60,000 last night for tree trimming.
Correct.
So roughly how much of this year's contingency?
I don't have my sheet from last night on me, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I
let
can
me
go
see.
grab it. It has it from last night.
If anybody has the pad, it's on the pad, right?
Yeah.
see if I can,
That's it.
no, it's the,
I have all the stuff from last night.
no, it's what we did at the town council meeting.
I threw it back up,
Oh, I have it right here. So, it's after we take the 60,000 out, it says that we have 388, 345.
Okay.
So is any of that?
200 has to go back to medical insurance. That was the assumption we were going to the state plan.
Okay,
And then the other 200 was the assumption that we were potentially going to Branford.
okay, so 200 of this has to come, so we have roughly 185,000
Alright.
left in the
Yes.
contingency fund.
Yes.
So if we reduced the 400,000 for capital program out of the fund balance for next year and used some of this year's contingency, because it's already been taken out of fund balance, correct? On there, then we could reduce what you're proposing, what was proposed to come out of fund balance for next year, if we use this year for some capital.
Right, I think the 400,000 I wouldn't touch because that's strict a wash out of fund balance. Our fund balance has been pretty healthy. You don't wanna get to the point where our fund balance is so great that people start complaining we're overtaxing. I'd rather, if you wanna reduce it, I'd reduce it out of the taxation piece to have a mill rate benefit as well,
Or a combo of the two,
most certainly.
right, okay.
Anthony, when you say the fund balance is so healthy, what is,
Right, at the end of last year, we were 13.9. Our fund balance says we have to be no lower than 10.
right?
You know, in the eyes of Moody's and those folks, it's still not a healthy fund balance. However, it is higher than our policy calls for, significantly higher. You know. So again, we're looking at another positive year this year, the way it's going so far. You build up fund balance to use when you need it, and I think maybe taking a little bit out of it would be a prudent move versus if you want to minimize tax impact, you have fund balance built up, and I'd use that to satisfy the capital request that you have. Actually, you could do a flip if you want to do a flip. Do-
What percentage would the $400,000 in total be of the 13.9? What would it reduce the 13.9 to?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head. I can give an answer for you though. We're at 13. We're at 701. Bring down to 13 even roughly. 400,000.
But if we have any money left over in this year's,
It'll flow into the fund balance.
correct, the contingency.
Contingency or the departments may have surplus that'll flow
Right.
into fund balance as well, correct?
Okay. Okay.
Mike, did you say you were entertaining motions in general, or you're going department by department?
I don't think we're gonna go department to department. Any motions that you have?
Well, an idea that I had, and I'm just gonna throw it out there, is rather than us going through department by department, which we have in the past, is between the grand list increase and the debt service, which Al talked about before, that is roughly $550,000 to the plus.
So 360 and 220, is that 580?
Well, that 360 got reduced to about 336 because of
Okay.
grand list adjustments. But that's originally what we had, yes. So and right now, the way the town side, the budget, the general increase amounted to $473,000 approximately. So if we take the 556 that we have and our general government increase, some things that I would like to see adjusted in the budget, but we want to keep the mill rate as is right now. But we would want to add 1 police officer, make sure we keep the 2 public work laborers that are already in the budget, keep the part-time EDC coordinator that is already in the budget. I want to add back the seasonal park monitor in Park and Rec, and delete the part-time cook that's in the community center. And also fund the risk corridor at to 100%, which would be approximately $135,000 according to my calculation.
When you're saying the mill rate, you're saying 1.46 or
No,
1.48?
the current mill
Current year?
rate,
The current mill rate,
so that there would be
No increase.
no increase.
no increase. So if we gave it back to the town and said, to the departments and said, what would it look like at that point? To see once what the departments, what the budget would look like. But keeping in mind the adds and deletes.
So it was add 1 police officer, add the 2 public works laborers, add the part-time EDC coordinator, add the seasonal park and recreation, park ranger person, delete the part-time cook that was the breakfast cook,
Correct,
and then fund 100% of the risk corridor.
right. But
And
the,
you want to keep the mill rate at the same number as current.
right, but the public works laborers and the EDC coordinator are already in the budget.
Correct.
So we're not adding them back, so it's, but
Correct.
we don't want it, in order to come up with a number, we don't want them taken out of the budget.
Understand.
To see once what it would look like. Or how close we can get to keeping the current mill rate.
What are you doing for capital?
We haven't moved on to that yet.
Yeah.
Let's
I would definitely do something, I mean, I would propose to do something with capital. I'm not in favor, and it's just me, I'm not in favor of doing a 1 mil towards capital. The 1.23 million.
Okay. All right.
I mean, a discussion for the council, and we just worked up some different scenarios as far as the 1.2 million in capital. If we funded 65% of it this year, it would be approximately 800,000. 75% is 925,000, and 80% of it is 985,000. So it's a discussion for the council to have as to,
Well, you could do the 985 if you took the 180,000 and funds that we were just talking about before off of it.
well, that's why I was looking to see once how much in contingency is left from this year, because I would probably, that would be the route I would suggest, is to use that for a capital expenditure, not in general, because it's a one-time thing. And it doesn't go back into the general fund.
When do you want an answer by?
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, does that work?
Certainly. So the goal is to keep the mill rate at where it is,
As close as we
as
can.
close as
to-
possible, with those 6 or 7 items you mentioned. And then
Does he have a copy of this?
He-
everything else basically
He
gets
does not, but I
flatlined.
have extra, I can give him.
He should have it, so he's got the exact numbers.
Okay. And all other increases besides these basically are zeroed out.
It's how you guys work it out to get to,
Zero.
right, or as close to a zero.
Define as close.
Well, because, I mean, we just, you know, our ultimate goal is to not have a tax increase.
We realize there's pay increases and stuff like that in there, so
Okay.
So we know that it can't be a
it
zero.
can't be an actual zero.
Okay. Oh,
That's why we gave you homework.
thank you.
But would it help you if we gave you some indication on capital? Because I know that that's, if we reduce the 830, that's where some of the reduction in the mill rate
Well, I was just
will
gonna
come
back into whatever's left, basically whatever.
from. To show us.
To show
And then
us.
we can do whatever
And
we
you
want
could-
at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And the 400,000, if you're on the fund balance for capital, if the 200,000 theoretically flows into that this June 30, then you can appropriate that next year and make it 600,000 if you wanted out of the fund balance with no, no additional harm, no foul kind of thing. Because 400,000 we already have accounted for out of fund balance, which isn't gonna significantly impact our percentage. And that 200,000, that's gonna flow in extra this year, if you will. You can make that a capital appropriation as well. Okay.
Next item is capital improvement plan. Do you have any?
Hmm?
Did you have anything?
Do I have anything?
No, Andre. I already took your flame away. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I find that page.
It's on the town council. Mayor and council. Professional.
We're looking at capital improvements now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We reduced the police officers to 1. Is there still a need or a request for 4 police cars?
I don't know. I don't believe so, but we could ask the police department, police commission.
We don't have to.
We don't have four in there, though.
We only had 2. I think town manager cut it to 2.
There was 3. Yeah.
I was told 4.
Oh.
No, no.
That was what they were asking for, four.
Yeah.
They were asking for 4 police officers, all 4 were cut, so there's nothing,
And
there's
hell-
no new officers in the current budget as presented.
So what are we looking at? Cut some of this?
Mike,
See much.
on Department 4110, it's on the town's mayoral, it's up in the front mayoral council. There's like CCM, South Central Council of Government. What's Greater Haven Transit?
What's that? The bus.
How much?
Bus. We pay a certain percentage of the bus that translates.
It still comes here?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Does anybody ride?
Anything else under capital improvement? No, we'll move on to debt service.
Including space.
Board of Education, we push that off till the 10th.
The Tuesday, right.
So Board of Education will address on the 10th. Finalizing the budget, I'm gonna wait for Anthony's numbers in the Board of Education. 10th.
We need to cancel tonight's meeting, so we make a motion.
Yeah, so,
No.
There's a budget workshop scheduled for tomorrow night, a special meeting. So, at this point in time, because we've asked Anthony for a lot of work for Tuesday, I'm gonna make a motion to cancel the budget workshop for tomorrow night for April 5th.
Second.
discussion?
Was that Council Viglione that said
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What time did you send it?
6:30.
Excuse me, can I just ask, the main reason is to give Anthony more time, that's why we're not?
Meeting, yeah, he
And
won't.
why did we decide not to have the Board of Ed tonight? Just because? Because I think last year we were able to do them all in one night.
Yeah, but we're still working on some Board of Education numbers, so we don't have them yet.
Pardon?
We don't have all the numbers for the Board of Ed yet. So, give you the Tuesday. Keep
Yeah,
you in
unfortunately, that's
suspense.
my birthday, so I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
well,
probably
then you'll have a hell of a present.
35.
35, right.
Is that next Tuesday?
All right, we can't do the ratification of town council
We have to,
recommended budget?
you have to do roll call.
Yeah.
You have to do roll call.
Yeah. Roll call?
Vote on the cancellation. Mayor Duty,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Angeloni,
Yes.
Counselor Candelora,
Yes.
Counselor Diamond,
Yes.
Counselor Fawnin,
Yes.
Counselor Rose,
Yes.
Counselor Viglione,
Yes.
Counselor Zampiano,
Yes.
Counselor Diamond, I think I missed you, Counselor Miller,
Yes.
thank you.
Clarification, that was on the grade A, on the police officer?
Yeah, I would,
Go the A?
yeah, I would go with the A. Hopefully we'll get lucky.
I have the number right here for you, Mike.
You did your homework, huh?
Yeah, we didn't take that overtime.
There's, they need a cop.
Pardon?
A cop left that has to be replaced.
Right.
That's already being
But
done.
that's in the,
That's in the.
that's already in the budget.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is gonna be a new cop.
This is
Correct.
new.
This is adding,
One cop before they ask for.
correct.
Got it.
All right, we can do ratification of the town council recommended budget, and we can't do approval. So next item is adjournment.
So moved.
Second, I guess.
Second. Joe seconded. Joe, roll call.
Okay. Mayor Duty,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Angeloni.
Yes.
Counselor Candelora.
Yes.
About board.
Counselor Diamond.
Yes.
Counselor Fawnin,
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
Sure, I'm doing it.
Yes.
So I have to-
Counselor Rose,
Yes.
Counselor Viglione,
Yes.
and Counselor Zampiano.